Hey friends, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Welcome to my live, and if you happen to be watching later, welcome to the replay. My name is Robin, and I'm with Robin's A Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Couture. So once you hop on tonight's live or you hop on the replay at a later date, please feel free to say hi in the comments and tell me where you are watching from. I happen to be in central Kansas. It was a nice balmy 60 degrees today, but it's supposed to get chillier this weekend. So tell me what the weather's like in your neck of the woods. I am live this evening in 2 locations. So if you hear me refer to a comment that is not in your feed, that person is probably viewing on a different platform. Also, if at any time you like this video and you like what you see and think others should see it, or you just want to help out my channel, please feel free to spread the craft love, hit that thumbs up button, hit that heart button. Not only does that help my channel get seen by other people, but that tells the algorithm that you like this kind of content, therefore it will push more content like this into your feed. So it helps both of us. And I think with that, let's go to the comments. Jason is watching from upstairs, so actually, if you hear the floor creaking, that's him upstairs. He's doing a few honeydews. He's putting on one of our nativity sets up and doing some other things. He's pretty good about that kind of stuff, and he's my go-to guy for anything design or decorating. So thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera because we have a few projects that I want to get done tonight. So I went live on Monday after another week hiatus. My apologies. And we used the Club Couture crafty bundle for the week, or for the month, and it was the warm and cozy. So you get 2 pair of socks, you get 3 ink packets, and you get, let me just go ahead and show you. You get the exclusive B-size transfer. It is $29.99 a month. There is free shipping with that coming directly to your mailbox. There is a 3-month minimum commitment to sign up, but you can cancel at any time. And I believe with the 12 days of Chalkmas, it is still currently 30% off this month's subscription. And just as a reminder, if you are a Perks member, you also get a 30% discount if you sign up to be a club member. And on speaking of Perks membership, you can sign up to be a Perks member or a designer for just $1 this month. It is normally $20. It's normally $20 for a Perks member, or it's $9.99 to purchase the designer pass. But those are both $1 through the 12th, so through Friday. And you can start saving immediately at 30% off retail and sale prices. And with all of the sales going on right now, that's a heck of a bargain. So you can stack your Perks member 30% off on top of some of the already discounted products. So if you're interested in saving some pennies, hit me up, message me, drop a comment below, and I will get you that information. Also, color of the month, the Disco Metallic ink is available, and it should say through December 15th. I forgot to change the date. It is only available through the 15th of the month now, so if you're wanting that exclusive color of the month, you can unlock that with the purchase of with a $75 order, and it is only through the 15th. There's also a $5 shipping on $50 orders, so there's a lot of stuff going on. And check out my Facebook page for all of the specials. So after, I'm going to try to heat set this stuff first, because I promised you we would. Circling back to what I started to say about the heat setting these things, is we did these Monday, so I'm going to heat set them today. This is a project we're going to do after we heat set those, so I'm going to put this aside for now. So stay tuned, there will be a project. So I'm going to heat set these. These are just with regular ink. My shirt was done with the puff additive, and I do apologize, this has now sold out. I'm hoping that they bring it back as a regular product, but a little birdie also told me that you can get it at a big box craft store that has 2 words in its name, and those 2 words rhyme. And it is actually, I hate to say it, it is a little cheaper at that box store than it would be on my chalk site. If you missed getting it while it was there and you want to pick some up, you can go there. So I'm going to turn my heat press on, or my easy press. So you want to heat set all of your things at 305 if you're using an easy press or a heat press. If you're using a home iron, you just want to set it to whatever fabric recommendations that you're heat setting. So if you're heat setting something that's cotton, you want to set your iron to the cotton setting. Probably need and then you're also going to need a sheet of parchment paper. I'll put that up there. And I happen to have just an extra heat press mat that I use. So I'm going to lay out, let's do the socks first. We'll let my iron heat up. Hello, Miss Bonita. She says she's here and she's happy to see me. Well, I am happy to see you as well. And again, don't mind my yucky finger. I smashed it in the doors at work, and so it's going to take a while for all that to go away. So it's not, I keep thinking I have black paste on my finger, and I don't. It's there for a while. Okay, so we're up to 185. So we're going to heat set all of our things. So if you have a home iron, you just, again, set it to complement the fabric that you are heat setting. You're going to place a piece of parchment paper over it, and then you're just going to kind of rub your iron with a little bit of pressure over the ink to heat set it. The Couture instructions say 4 minutes, but you're most likely going to scorch anything that you're heat setting. So just, I'd say 30 seconds to a minute, and check it. And you can tell that it's heat set when you can't kind of feel the ink anymore, and it's not tacky. But I wouldn't do the 4 minutes because you're probably going to scorch something. We're close. Close. If you're using an easy press or a heat press, it's about 30 seconds on 305. So I have my easy press cord stuck on something. Okay. So we're just going to put that on there. We're going to set the timer. And you don't need a lot of pressure. I do try to move it around just a little bit. Don't move it around if you think your ink might still be wet. But it's been a good 48 hours since I've heat set these, or since I've inked these, so they're good to go. Yep, so they should be good and heat set. Easy peasy. This is such a fun way to make custom gifts and decor. I love to make t-shirts. So we'll just leave these right over here. Okay, next is our shirt. So this was, again, I added puff modifier to my chalk ink, which I don't have any of it out. Mine is old, so don't be surprised if it doesn't work. Mine actually is more like marshmallow fluff instead of puff. So we'll see if it works. When I used this before a couple of years ago, I think I used a heat gun, a heat tool, an industrial heat tool to puff it, but people have been using the easy press, so we're going to give it a try. Trying to get all those wrinkles out of the back side. Move it up just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to add our parchment paper over it. We'll see if it works. So the puff is just supposed to literally puff the ink up, so it's very dimensional. We're going to see if it works. And I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure because I don't want to flatten the puff. If it even works, we'll see. Since mine was more like fluff than it was a creamy texture, I'm not for sure if it's going to work. Either way, we'll still heat set the ink. Oh, it did. It didn't puff it very uniformly. It's actually, well, and it's, yeah, that's weird. It's actually sloughing off. So mine was old. It kind of gave it the pressed velvet look. Can you see all that texture? It's actually not bad, but it's kind of coming off on my hands. It's weird. Oh gosh, it's all over. It's an interesting texture. I don't hate it. I'll have to see what happens when I wash it. But that's weird. It's kind of a fun little texture. It's usually smooth. Mine is not. I actually don't hate it though. I don't know if you can. You see all that texture? That's not what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be a lot more uniform, but probably because my puff was more like fluff, marshmallow fluff, I didn't get it evenly added to my ink. So that's probably why it looks like that. We'll see how it washes, because actually, again, it's not terrible. I don't hate it. I just don't want it sloughing off like it is. It's all over my black sweater, but that's pretty cool nonetheless. Okay, we'll put those aside. I'm going to fold that up. I'm afraid to do the back side because I don't want to totally kill, or I don't totally want to mess up all of that. Turn off my heat press, easy press, plug it, and let's get out our project. Any questions on the heat setting? Okay, so let's move on to this project. This is actually the door tag, the tag that goes to my welcome porch leaner. I have it connected with command strips. And so this has been on there since like a year ago or 2 years ago, winter. So we're going to take it off. I'm going to remove the bow and the tag. And then we're going to remove the design. Get that put away. So Couture was originally designed for higher end chalkboards to be to redesign on them. So the concept was you purchase this, you invest in this high end chalkboard, and you get different transfers for every day, for holiday, for seasons, and then you can redesign on the chalkboards because the chalk paste is water soluble, so it reacts with water. So you can take the design off of chalkboards and then directly redesign on them with other designs. That was the initial concept, but of course creatives like to hack things, so now people chalk on everything. Anything that stands still with a flat surface, people chalk on it. So Couture has kind of gone away from the whole concept of chalkboards. They've definitely gone away from the high end of chalkboards. Like some of the chalkboards used to cost $100, $150-ish, $75-ish dollars. So you just have to, if you want to redesign with a chalkboard or even glass or most metals, you just need to wet your chalk like I did here. Let it sit for a little bit, and then you can scrape it off. We used to carry these paste scrapers, but if you have like a Cricut scraper, which kind of have to be careful with these, or you can use like an old gift card or credit card. It also comes off that way. So we're going to remove this design and we're going to pop on another one. And this is a very inexpensive chalkboard, so I'm probably going to end up with a little bit of ghosting, which is, you can see the design, but I'll just chalk over it and you won't be able to tell. I'm also going to use my board eraser and try to get some more of that off. Try not to bang that around on my glass mat. So if I didn't post it today on my Facebook page, but today's 12 Days of Chalkmas is select surfaces there are some select surfaces that are priced at $6 to $10, and that is, I believe, before Perks member and designer pricing. There's also still $10 A, B, and F size transfers. So this transfer we're using tonight, this Holiday House Rules, it is a W. Westbrook's design. It is $10, and that's retail pricing. So if you're a Perks member, it's 30% off of that. So it would be $7-ish. If you're a designer, it's like $5.40. So it pays to be a Perks member or a designer, especially during the 12 days of Chalkmas. Okay, let me get all that off. I got most of it off. So I do have a cart link in the description of the video for the products that I'm using this evening. However, I was originally going to do a kind of a bright and cheery color scheme, but I also have this fabric laying on my desk. So in lieu of, we're not going to do a bright and cheery, we're going to do, excuse me, more of a traditional Christmas. And I've got cherry, vanilla, and ivy. So I thought that would look cute with the fabric. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's get my fuzz cloth out. Oops. Okay. I need to write on the back side. Oops. I'm just going to put an X because it's just a little easier. But this tells me that this is the back side, so that when I'm done cleaning this reusable transfer, I know that it goes on this side and not this side. So I'm going to go ahead and take the backer sheet off and put it aside. And then I'm going to fuzz the back side of this transfer. There is adhesive on the back side, and I want most of that adhesive, but I also don't want it to be so sticky that it sticks really hard to the surface, and then when I go to peel it off, it pulls or stretches or distorts and then doesn't act. It loses some of its functionality because it's stretched out. So I'm just knocking back a little bit of the adhesive. So we're going to put this here. I'm just going to line it up as best as we can. Not all of it may fit. I think that's pretty close. I'm going to have to work around this little wooden washer, but we'll make it work. Okay, so I've got it burnished on there. I know I'm going to do the tree in ivy, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get a couple of squeegees in different sizes. And then I have a couple of detail tools, or multi-tools up here. I'm going to get a wipe out because I'll probably need it. Okay, so let's get our ivy out. And I think it came back in stock. And I think, let's see if I have a, nope. I'll just use the one I have. Okay, so I'm just going to dip my squeegee into the chalk paste. Get a little bit out. And then we're just going to cover the silkscreen areas where I want this color. And the paste has a tendency to dry fairly quickly, so we need to work as quickly as we can because we don't want that paste to dry in the silkscreen area. Jason says, and just like that, hello from the other side of the door. He must be all finished. So I'm going to be using a paste and peel method because I don't want this paste to dry in the silkscreen while I do the other colors. I'm going to pull this area up. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the star, that same color, just for easy reference. Okay, so I'm just going to peel that part up and smear it with my fingers. And it's kind of hard to see on that black, but okay. Let me get my quick dry tool plugged in. I'm going to give that a good dry. And you'll know it's dry when it turns from kind of a shiny surface to a matte finish. Jason says not finished, but sufficiently progressed. Well, it's more than I would have gotten done. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I have such a hard time decorating before Thanksgiving, but then I feel so rushed to try to get it all up. I don't know, I guess I need to let go of that because I don't get to enjoy it as much as I'd like. I probably need to get some brown and do the whatever that's called, the stump. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so I've got some espresso. I'm going to use my multi-tool. This will be a little hard to see on that black, but so let's pull that side up. Get that dry. I'm not using any more bark. Put that to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and clean off my multi-tool. So then let's burnish. Okay, so I think we'll just kind of go in strips with different colors. Either, I don't know if I'm done with my ivy yet or not. Actually, I'm actually kind of thinking know what I'll do. I think I'm done with the ivy. Oops. I think we'll do this part in cherry. We'll do each of these little columns in vanilla. And we'll do this. Oh, wait, we have some holly down here, so I'm not quite done with the green. Okay, I think I have a plan. We'll get the squeegee out. So this is cherry. So we'll do, I'm going to try to stay away from this board, but that might not be possible. This means I'm going to have to pay attention, which I'm not very good at. So I'm going to turn my project around and paste away from the other parts of the transfer. Oh, fart. Leave it to me to leave a gigantic mess. And get some of that up. Okay, let's see if we can pull that off. Hopefully it didn't start to dry. Did miss a piece. Okay, fixed it. I used to be so bad about trying to put it back down. But it just takes practice. Just don't panic and pull the whole thing off. Get that off real quick. Oops. So we'll burnish this area. Burnish that area. Try not to get my fingers in everything. Okay, so let's open our vanilla. Ugh. Get another squeegee. I love this transfer. I'm going to go in with a smaller one just to kind of even out some of these tight spaces in here. I'm not quite for sure how far I want to go down, so we'll just stop there. and kind of even everything out. I think I'm going to put it down. Okay, so it says catch snowflakes, calories don't count, bake cookies, and play in the snow. Missed a tiny little spot right there. And we'll do this side. I'm just going to use my smaller squeegee to get into some of these tight spaces. And I'll go ahead and, well, let's see if I can finish down here real quick. Probably going to start drying. Doesn't help that I have a fan on either. Ah, turn my fan off. I'm going to try to see if I can get the stockings didn't come out very, or the mittens, and then the hot cocoa. But I'll probably have to come back in and redo it. Well, that worked out better. The stockings are just so detailed that they're having a hard time. I think I'm going to go ahead and do these banners. One says no peeking. And then we'll come over here and do this one, and it says Be Merry. Okay, I think we'll do the gifts in, I think we're done with that color. We'll do the gifts in red, I think, yep. Or in cherry. So how's everyone's Christmas shopping going? Phooey. Okay. Some of these little fine details are very fine. They don't show up very well. I'm going to burnish the rest of that down. So I'm going to do Believe in Magic in cherry. And then I just have a few holly leaves and a few holly berries. I just need to slow down so I don't over paste into that border down below. Bonita says she still has Ryan's kids to get yet. Miraculously, we have Dane. Dane's all finished. Even stocking stuffer, which that's usually, I'm usually so late I can't even get the Christmas candy that was on Santa's list that he told me to get. I usually have to end up getting regular candy. Okay, I'm going to pull that up. Whoops. Pulled that up way too fast. I missed half of the G. Okay. A little bit of the M. There. 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 That worked. Okay, so all I have left are the green leaves. See if I can get one of these cleaned off. Okay. Get the ivy back out. She wants to try her hand at finger crocheting a quilt that Lily asked for in the yard. Yarn is on back order now. It's not scheduled to be delivered until 12/16. Oh, better get those fingers flying. Are you doing that like thick chunky, the big thick chunky quilt finger knitting? I peeked over that rabbit hole for a while, but I do the yarn it takes to make one of those is crazy expensive. It takes a lot. I was in a group once and I had to get out of it. I'm like, I don't need anything else in my life. People have been making big table looms for that, and ta-da! The chunky yarn. You've never done it before. I don't think you need to be nervous. I've finger knitted. It was basically actually it's called arm knitting. I did a scarf. Of course, I had to take it apart and redo it, but I did a scarf. Okay, so the tree has spots for ornaments. So I have a couple of these that used to be in the artist tool set. Jason says it's beautiful. So I thought I would come back in with vanilla and cherry. Just to kind of fill in. Oops. A little wild with that one. So now it's coming with the cherry. I think I'll come back in and do that one vanilla. Ta-da! Oh. You have to be careful with these because sometimes that little black part will come out. I should have gotten my shimmer crimson and my shimmer frost, but I was afraid the frost would be too light up against that vanilla. I could have also probably used champagne, just kind of a creamy metallic color. Now we'll let that dry and we'll work on a bow. I gotta get all that off my hands. So the mittens didn't turn out very well. There was a lot of really fine detail, and then some of the packaging was super fine, like the bows and all of that. Otherwise, it's really kind of cute. Make sure my ornaments are dry. Okay, let me get my bow dabber out. Where my little one is. Oh, there she is. Okay, I found her. Okay. Oof. Okay, let's get this fabric out, and it's fairly long, so I'll have to cut it into little strips, although I do have these little strips. So let's work with those for right now, see what we have. So I have mostly moved away from ribbon bows, and I just like to use fabric strips. So I just cut little notches in the end, except for this piece may not be, and I'm probably tearing it the wrong direction. So it doesn't want to tear. Probably going against the grain or with the grain, or that's not working. Let's try that piece. Okay, so let's get some more. I'm going to put my sign to the side just so I don't get fabric all over, or ink paste all over my fabric. Let's cut. So I'm just going to cut a hunk of it off. Just going to put a little snip there. And then I'll put the rest of that away. So I try to shop the remnant section at Hobby Lobby whenever I'm there. That's where I get most of my fabrics. Or I use bandanas or fat quarters, because I don't need a whole lot of fabric. Oh. Okay. A couple more pieces. This should be plenty. I don't think I'll need that piece, but we'll hang on to it just in case. So I think I'll use that as my tie. Actually, choose this red one that's all rolled up for my tie. This one doesn't necessarily have a right or a wrong end. I'm just trying to gauge how wide I want it to be. And it's just going to be pretty haphazard. I'm just going to go back and forth. Okay, I don't know if that's big enough. Let's use this cream colors. We'll add these in. Ooh, lots of strings. Okay, I think that's good. So then I'm going to gently tie it. And then I'm going to take it out and kind of smush it down. And tie that in a knot. And then I'm going to bring that back around to the back. Actually, because it's so long, and it's also going to help add a little bit of dimension to the middle of it. I'm going to wrap it around a few times. I can't remember what's okay. So that was the front. I'll tie it tight. And it's going to kind of set slightly uneven. So I don't necessarily have to get it straight. Actually, I want to flip it around. Super cute. So I'm going to flip it around and tie it on. So that needs a bell. So actually, I'm going to undo it. I think I'm going to untie it. And I'm going to attach these jingle bells. Just have some, actually, I'm not going to untie it because that would be a mess. I'm just going to use this random piece of twine that I have laying here. I think I'm going to try for 3. Okay, I'm going to see if I can just try to cover. I think I'm going to tie my bow back on. Maybe. I have a vision in my head. I just don't know quite how to execute it. I think I'm going to push those. I'm going to push that through. I just want to try to cover up some of that hole. Okay. It's kind of how I want it, but now I got to figure out how to. So I think I can get that back through. Actually, yeah. White. Don't know if this will work. Pretty much just like that. Pull some of these tails down. Cut off some of these strings. How's that look? Am I close? Minus the. I think that'll work. Fluff it up a wee bit. Okay, let me Let's change the camera so you can see it. How does that look? Is that past muster, Bonita? I think it'll work. I like it. It's a little messy, really messy, but it's just kind of how I like bows these days. Jason says it looks awesome. Trim off some of these stray strings. Oops. Okay, doke. I like it. I think I'm going to go put it on my porch cleaner upstairs. Bonita says, yes, ma'am. Rick says it's really pretty too. Well, thank you. So I'm going to go put it up on my porch cleaner, and I will actually be in season with it for once. Because it's actually hasn't had a tag on it in a long time. Okie doke. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this evening. Pull out my. So we heat set our socks that came in our Club Couture kit for the month. We heat set our. I can get it without spilling anything. We heat set our puff shirt. Worked pretty good. My puff was old, so I know I didn't get it. I didn't get it all the way mixed in. That's why. But it's actually a really cool texture. It's kind of like pressed, like that. Is it the pressed velvet that has the different textures in it? So it's pretty cool. And then we did our cute little tag. Okay, so I'm going to hop off for the evening in Robin fashion. It's been an hour. I just can't do quick projects. So I'm going to hop off. I will be live again on Friday. And then I will be off all next week because I will be gift wrapping for our church service project. So I will see you probably the week of the 20th, maybe it'll probably be the 21st, that Sunday. So I hope you all have a great weekend. If I don't see you on Friday, have a great weekend. Have a great next week. And I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching.